I'm on silent, evidently. Okay. Hi, Facebook. We're back. Earlier today, you got to meet, or you had the opportunity to meet Vickie Plummer. She's over in that square waving at you right now. And I want to remind you who she is. Vickie Plummer has always been a late bloomer. From not getting her driver's license until she was 21 to not going through her growth spurt till after graduating high school. So why would a stand-up career be any different, she says. She's a New York-based comedian. She started in 2000 to 2007 and took a short 12-year break and came back as a semifinalist in the Empire State Stand-Up Showdown. There's a tongue twister. She also became a second round finisher in the Gene Robertson Humor, just a minute as I move across, competition. Gene Robertson Humor Competition. Also, once again today, rest in peace to Gene Robertson, who passed away earlier this year. You can catch our guest right now, Vickie Plummer, at Westside Comedy Club, and she produces many shows, so you want to get to know her and love her. And later, in a few minutes, like 15 minutes, Richie Byrne, who is the audience warm-up for Dr. Oz, will be here to also promote the taping of his podcast that will happen at Broadway Comedy Club. This is a special edition, you guys. This is something hot going on. I mean, this is too good to pass up and not let you guys know about. So let's get right to it. I want to give the floor to Vickie so she can officially, correctly promote what's going on for you folks. Here we go. Let's give it up for the first guest of two right now, Vickie Plummer. Hi, Vickie. Welcome back.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, twice in one day. Oh my gosh.
It's exciting. It's exciting. So Mark RIccadonna and Richie Byrne, they're the hosts of the podcast Drinks, Jokes, and Storytelling, which is super fun. It's been around 7 years, and it went on to Twitch TV this year during the pandemic. And you can actually hear it on all the regular things that you normally would hear the podcast on, all the regular channels and stuff. But on Twitch TV, they have all kinds of different shows that other hosts do as well on their channel, Drinks, Jokes, and Storytelling. But they do everything from a comedians roundtable, where comedians come and they talk about like upcoming shows, or they talk about funny things that have happened before. They interview people about how they got into stand-up. They interview them about crazy things that have happened, movies they've done, tours they've been on. It's awesome. It's really, really fun. And the premise is that they have a drink and they tell stories and they tell jokes. And they're just really fun guys. They're so cool. They've been around the world. They've entertained the troops. They have, they've written books. They've done all kinds of stuff. So Richie is the warm-up comic for Dr. Oz. That show, when the pandemic happened, stopped having live audiences, so he didn't have a job. And so they don't have a live audience still. And so right now he's filling in as the warm-up comic for the Drew Barrymore show. So I'm sure he'll have some fun stuff to talk about for that. But he's done, oh my God, he's done so much stuff. He also has his degree in musical theater. And so we were talking about, like, we should do a duet. We should do some singing. So he has a great voice. But he is hilarious. He is so funny. And then Mark RIccadonna, I love that name, RIccadonna. He is also hilarious and a funny stand-up comedian. He's written for Saturday Night Live. He's written a joke book that's like, you turn it around, one side it's really funny, clean jokes. You flip it over and you've got the dirty versions. It's really funny. And then he's done a bunch of movies. He has Angry Shih Tzu Productions, which is the type of dog that he owns. And he's got movies that he's written and produced. And he's got a movie that just I don't know the name of it, but it just came out in out of production during the pandemic. It was like held up for a while. And then he just filmed a pilot for TV with Joe Mantegna that I don't know if it's, you know, what channel it'll get picked up on and all that, but pretty exciting stuff. But they're so nice. They're the nicest people, I cannot even tell you. And I met them through Zoom as well. And that was really lucky and cool. And then I got to meet them in person. And we just did a live show together in, Poughkeepsie, New York at the Laugh It Up Comedy Club. And we had a blast and had a wonderful time. And so then we had been working on this show that's going to happen. It's at the West Side Comedy Club. It's on Wednesday, September 29th. It's at 7 p.m. You can get tickets online at the West Side Comedy Club's website, and you can buy them right there. You can also get them at the door, but they're more expensive if you wait. They're cheaper if you buy them online ahead of time. But the show is going to be fantastic. We have really great guests. We have Kathy Fitzgerald, who has been on Broadway for over 20 years, and she's also hilarious. She's so funny. She was in the original cast on Broadway with the producers. So she worked directly with Mel Brooks. And I mean, who can say that they've worked directly with Mel Brooks?
Nobody.
You know, she's so funny. And she's worked 9 to 5 on Broadway, worked directly with Dolly Parton. I mean, hello, that's awesome. And she's been in a ton of other shows, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. She just finished doing Wicked as Madame Morrible. She came in, she's done it a bunch of times, but she filled in to come back to Broadway while the person that was playing the role when the pandemic happened couldn't be there right away. So she just filled in for 2 weeks. And then she's going to do that again. So that's why she's able to do this show. And then we have Tom Cotter, who was from America's Got Talent. And he was the second to, he always says second to a dog, which cracks me up. But he's so funny. He was there about a month ago. He was at the West Side Comedy Club and I was working that night. And I laughed so hard I almost threw my back out. It was so funny. He is really good. He's so good. And so nice, like such a nice guy. So they're gonna come, and then Justin Gonzalez, he has a show on the Twitch channel. He is so funny. He's also super talented. He's a tenor, and he can sing his face off. And he tours around the country with a group that sings Queen songs. And so he can sing all different kinds of music. So he's going to be our musical entertainment throughout the time. And so we're just going to have a lot of fun. We're all going to do a little bit of stand-up. We're going to sit and chat. We're going to have some drinks. And Kathy's going to sing for us. And it's basically like when you're in the green room after a show and you're hanging out with the comics and you're just talking to each other. But the audience is there the whole time, and so they get to be in on it. Some will get to ask questions, and it's fun. It's really fun. So we're gonna have a really good time.
And you're filming the podcast at the club with the audience there.
That's correct. That's correct. So it's gonna be, you know, cameras and audio and all that kind of stuff. And so everyone will be able to feel like they're a part of it because they are a part of it, you know? And so we did it before when we were up in Poughkeepsie. We did a little trial run to see how it was. And the audience members had the best time. They were like, this is awesome. And we just had such a good time. They didn't want to leave. At the end, we were like, well, all right, it's time to go. They're like, well, we got more stuff we want to talk about. We're like, you guys, it's almost midnight. We should go, you know? And it was just really fun. So
I'm dying to see how well it goes, because at Harvey's Comedy Club in Portland, Oregon, where I came from, one time a couple that did a podcast together came and did a podcast on stage, and the Portland audience was not having it. At all.
Really?
So I'm really glad you tried yours and it goes over well.
Yeah, well, when we have it on Twitch TV, the audience can comment, you know, so they're not there in person, but they can comment and type in, you know, answers and questions. And so Tom, who is the producer, he can read the comments to the guests that are there, and he can say, you know, hey, Joe Schmo just asked you a question. And so people can answer those questions live and say, oh, Joe, I see that you asked about da 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 da, you know. And so they are a part of the conversation there. It's only through typing, you know. So this is live in person. They're a part of the conversation.
That's great.
That's fun. And I think the thing is, we all feel like, especially when you're watching something on television, you want to be a part of the conversation sometimes, and you're so distanced from it, you can't, you know. But it's so neat. Sometimes you're a little fly on the wall, you hear stuff. Now you can be like, oh, hey, I've always wanted to ask this question. How was it on America's Got Talent? What was that really like, you know? And
absolutely. Guess who's here?
He's here, yay. She's here. Awesome.
Did you have any? Hi, Richie Byrne. How are you?
He's connecting to audio still, it looks like.
Hello.
Hi, Richie Byrne.
Hi, Linda. How are you?
Fabulous. Been talking to your cohort here, Vickie Plummer.
Hi, Vickie.
Hey, how are you? I'm gonna have to leave in like 2 minutes for this work meeting, but I just gave her the rundown of what your awesome podcast is and where people can listen to it and watch it.
Okay, good.
And how awesome you are,
Yeah.
and all that good stuff. So
Did you have anything to say before you need to run, Vickie?
no, just if people want to get tickets, it's this coming Wednesday. It's at 7 p.m. It's at the West Side Comedy Club. You can get tickets right on the website. That's the live show, but you can watch and listen to the podcast. It's all the time. And it's Drinks, Jokes, and Storytelling.
I'm
Right.
gonna have to start watching it. Well, thank you so much, Vickie, for coming on to the show twice today. I appreciate it so much. I'm gonna go on over to Richie because I know his time's valuable too. And when you need to go, I understand, Vickie. Thank you so much again.
No problem. So good that you had us on. And I told Richie that you're a veteran, and Richie's entertained the troops. So this is really great.
I can't wait to do this intro, Richie. Oh my gosh. Vickie, thank you once again. I want to get to the intro of Richie Byrne, but before I do it, I want to just preface it with one thing that I tear up every time I hear that anybody has entertained the troops. I was a veteran, yes, I didn't do much. Come on, I was a woman in the 70s, but I bet you he did a lot. And anytime anybody is entertaining our troops, it makes me so happy, because I was in Germany for 3 years and nobody came during that time to entertain. So you're very special to me. I just want you to know that.
You served. I didn't. That makes you win.
We'll have to hear about that. Why do you say you didn't serve?
Well, I mean, as far as I wasn't in the military, I performed. You know.
Oh, I thought,
Yeah.
see, I didn't even get to your intro yet. I assumed you were military and
No,
served.
no. I wish
No.
I don't have that honor.
Entertained.
But you know what? I think that like Bob Hope became an honorary veteran because he served the troops. And I think that everybody who's gone and served the troops in any capacity should be an honorary veteran. They
Thank
put
you.
their life on the line.
Thank you.
So-
You know, they gave me a couple of places I went. They gave me coins, and that were for their unit. And if you didn't have that coin with you in a bar, you were in a lot of trouble. If the unit yelled out, it was like a thing. And I still have all the coins. Just
Wow.
and it's 20 years later. I still have all the coins because that was, to me, was a great honor that they gave me a coin that
Yes.
signified I was part of the unit. You know what I mean?
Oh my gosh. I want you back on to do a full interview. I know your time's short today.
Yeah, I absolutely would love to come back.
Perfect. And let me get to your intro. Richie is proud to have performed for military bases throughout the US and Europe for the Comics on Duty organization, as well as countless charities, including Comedy Cures, created by Suzanne Rothberg, Comedy Cures is a nonprofit organization using comedy as a therapeutic tool for terminally ill patients and their caregivers. You're going to get me to cry. Richie was the first comic to ever perform at the United Nations, where his opening line was, "Is anyone here from out of town?" He has also been seen at such historic venues as Carnegie Hall, Radio City Music Hall. He's honored to be the co-host of the popular Drinks, Jokes, and Storytelling podcast with fellow comedian Mark RIccadonna.
You know, honored. Mark wrote that.
You can see that podcast on Twitch TV. Again, it's called Drinks, Jokes, and Storytelling. And I believe that's all I have as the intro. That's where it
more
ends.
than enough.
So welcome to the stage to talk about this magnificent show coming up Wednesday,
Yes.
7 Eastern at Westside Comedy Club. It's
Yes.
all yours, Richie. Knock it out of the park.
Yeah, Mark and I started the podcast about 4 years ago. And in the beginning, we were just doing it like a regular podcast. So there was no cameras, none of that. We would just have, our goal was to bring backstage to the audience, the green room, what comics are like when they're just sitting around after a show talking and having a drink. And we had great times doing that. And then when the pandemic hit, we were recording it at the Comic Strip. They have their own podcast booth. So when the pandemic hit, we couldn't do that. And we started Zooming. We started doing it this way. It was amazing because we realized, oh my God, we can get any comic we want from anywhere to just come on and do it. Yeah. So that changed the whole dynamic of the show a lot. It changed it a lot. And it's just been building up from there. Last January, we launched on Twitch, which is a gaming streaming network. And we're one of the few, we start our own station. So we have, I think, 12 to 15 different shows running every week on Twitch, all under the Drinks, Jokes, and Storytelling label. And Mark RIccadonna and I, and Tom Bannis, who's our producer, was really instrumental in getting that off the ground. But we also after we do a show live, you can find us on YouTube on Drinks, Jokes, and Storytelling. But what we did when we launched on Twitch was we started doing, were you on one of them? We started doing telethons, like weekends, where we'd raise money for charities. And that was amazing because we were getting comics from all over the world to come on and do that. And it was a lot of fun and a lot of work. So we do telethons every few months and raise money for different things at different charities. And then we've talked for a while ago about going and doing it live. Let's do it on a stage in front of an audience. So that's what we're going to start on Wednesday at Westside Comedy Club here in Manhattan.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it's going to be different. And now it's grown more. Like we used to just do comics. It was just comics talking about comedy, talking about whatever. And now we've had Broadway guests and we've had TV guests and things like that. So that night we're going to have Tom Cotter, who I'm sure you know is just a tremendous comic. And we're going to have Kathy Fitzgerald, who's just finishing up on Wicked on Broadway. So she's going to sing, and it's just going to be a great night of music and comedy. And it's only $20 to get in, and we're going to shoot it, and then we'll put it up on YouTube eventually. I don't think we're live that night. I don't think you can go and stream it. I could be wrong about that. I'll get you that information, but we're definitely going to put it up. We're, you know what I mean? So
yes, I can't wait. I hope you stream it live, but if you don't, as soon as I get off of here, I'm going to go to your YouTube, Drinks, Jokes, and Storytelling.
Yes. Yeah.
And I'm going to subscribe and hit the bell so I get notified.
Yeah. So it's really going to be different. It's going to be interesting,
Yes, I saw the flyer and I was like, oh my gosh, I would love to have him come on and promote it. And so I got lucky today that you're here.
No, I'm lucky you asked me. Thank you so much for asking me.
Before
Where
you
are you?
go,
You're in Vegas?
I live in Vegas. I've been here 2 years now. I know everybody in town that does comedy. I made sure they know who I am and I know who they are.
Where were you before Vegas?
I was in Portland, Oregon. That's where I'm from. And I've done New York and Philly for extended periods of time before.
Have we met? Because I know we met somewhere.
Yes, you were on the show with Upstate Fire Department, Fallen Fire. Weren't you on the show? And I came and did comedy with John LaRoccia.
Oh, okay, man. Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. All right. I knew you. You know how it is. You know,
Totally.
so
That's when I came. I remember your smiley face and you were so positive about my comedy. You made me feel good.
Thank you. Thank you. So yeah, so that's going to be Wednesday night. And then every Monday afternoon at 2:00 Eastern time, we do a live show of Drinks, Jokes, and Storytelling here on Twitch. And if you can't watch it, just go to our YouTube page, Drinks, Jokes, and Storytelling, and you can find it there.
Fabulous. And before you go, because I know your time is important, you got only a few. Can you speak to being a warm-up audience person for Dr. Oz and Drew Barrymore? And that's super. I'll have you come back to do a full interview, but can you speak to that a little?
I'll tell you what happened. I did Dr. Oz show for 11 seasons, and it ended because of the pandemic.
Yeah.
And they've come back doing shows, but they don't have an audience as of now. I don't know if right now they don't want to have an audience, which is understandable. But a lot of shows here have brought audiences back in, and Drew Barrymore is one of them. And my buddy Joey Kohler does the warm up for Drew, and he can't. Do you know Joey?
I know of him. I've never met him. I adore his comedy. Adore it.
Yes. Joey can't do October, the 3 weeks in October, so he asked me to do it. So I was supposed to go in last week to shadow him, just to get the ins and outs, because every show is different.
Yeah.
And he called me last Sunday and said, "Hey, I'm going to the hospital. I think I have appendicitis." And I thought, he's probably wrong. And then he called me 1:30 in the morning and said, "I'm going into surgery. You have to go in this week and do Drew Barrymore show." So I had to go in totally blind. No idea. I hadn't met anybody. I didn't know anybody. So that first day was a little weird, trying to figure the ins and outs. Because like I said, every show is different. And like some people want you want the audience like here all the time. Other people, I want it to be here and work organically. And she's more that way. So, but it was such a weird week to just go all of a sudden. My whole week got thrown upside down, and there I was opening up for Drew Barrymore. So that was kind of fun. Yeah.
So cool. I bet you have a lot of stories you could tell about.
I do. I mean, Dr. Oz is an interesting show to do warm up. Most shows are comedy. Most shows are variety. So to be a warm up on, say, the Rosie O'Donnell show, or the Chew, or whatever, or even the late night Jimmy Fallon, whatever. There's an energy of, we're here to have fun. We're here to make you laugh, but Dr. Oz show had different variables every show. I mean, there could be one segment where he's joking with a woman or he's doing a dance thing. The next segment could be about a person who's got a rare disease. So coming out of those segments, making sure the audience was in the right frame of mind for the next segment, but not offending what they just witnessed was very hard to do at times,
Wow.
It taught me a lot about controlling an audience. It really did.
Wow.
It really, every time, it's funny, I've been a comic for over 30 years, and every time you think you've done everything you could do, you do something new. And it's amazing how much, when I started doing warm up, it enhanced and changed my stand-up, because I learned different things about an audience that I never thought of as a stand-up. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So
it made you better at connecting to specific
absolutely.
needs rather than in general.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's fascinating.
Just
That's-
like the pandemic I mean, you know, we're doing Zoom shows, we're doing shows outside. I remember saying I could never do a Zoom show. And then suddenly I was doing Zoom shows because you had to, and you had to adjust, you know, it's interesting.
Well, I'm going to hit you up to come back on for a full interview. And thank
Okay.
you so much. And everybody,
Thank you. Thank
go
you.
to West Side Comedy Club online, get your $20 tickets because it costs a little more at the door. You know the drill.
Right.
And go watch this show, 7 p.m. New York time,
Yes.
Wednesday.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you,
Appreciate
Linda. I'll
Thank
talk
you,
to you
Richie
soon.
Byrne. Bye.
Bye-bye.